Hutson TV, I'm here with Craig Button. The Montreal Canadiens pick David Reinbacher. Did you see it coming? Because I don't think anybody did.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I saw it coming. But you draft a player, and you have to really feel comfortable with what a player is,
Yeah.
and then you're going to project what a player could be, and that's all part of it. But we take players and we look at them in isolation and go, okay, why did they draft this player? But you start to look at what they're trying to do. You're trying to build out a team. It takes a lot of different players, right? Sure. They have a lot of good forwards, and you know where my mind immediately went to when I saw them draft David was. I say, well, they got Lane Hutson, who I think is a terrific young player, yeah. And I think that David Reinbacher might be the perfect type of partner for Lane Hutson down the road. They're not going to play next year. Yeah. David is to me is a really good, competitive, solid defenseman. Yeah. Now, you might think that his offense might be there, and there might be more there, and that's fair. Projection is a part of the game. But I see David a lot like Adam Larsson. Adam Larsson, has been a really solid NHL player, a real competitor. You want Adam Larsson on your team. Yeah, Not everybody can be that star defenseman. And, perhaps they look at him and say, hey, listen, we see a lot more offense there. I think maybe you look at that and you say, okay, that's surprising. But this is a solid player that's going to be a really good player for the Montreal Canadiens for a lot of years. And like I said, you compare him with certain types of... Because Lane Hutson's going to need a David Reinbacher type player to get the best out of him.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, I mean, look, I think the surprise from Habs fans is more in the sense that they don't go for Dubois. Therefore, we understand that we're still looking for maybe a top-end forward. So we're expecting here either a Ryan Leonard or a Michkov. And maybe if it wasn't so offensively loaded this draft, I think Habs fans would have had a different take on it. So maybe that's where the frustration lies.
Well, a lot of times what happens in a draft is there's a lot of discussion and talk about this player or that player, and so it's now David Reinbacher comes off wow, where did that come from? Yeah. But again, the team is not looking at it that way. The team is looking at it, what do we need to do to build out our team? Yeah. And you're right. You can look at offensive players, but you start to look at Michkov and Ryan Leonard. They're wingers. Yeah. They're wingers.
We need a winger.
Okay. Well,
we have Suzuki. We have Slav.
Okay, there's some really good wingers in the prospect pool. Joshua Waugh is an outstanding prospect for the Montreal Canadiens, and so you talk about Slavkovsky. Well, those could be your first two left wingers, right? I don't know where Kirby Dach's going to end up playing. I mean, maybe he plays on the wing. Maybe, okay, but that's okay. But you're not just looking at the fifth pick to build out your team. There's a lot of different ways to build out your team, and so I think that again, you're looking at it in a lot of different areas when you're drafting them, and you can say, okay, maybe Ryan Leonard is a guy. Like I said, a defenseman like Reinbacher adds. I mean, he's not Logan Mailloux. Logan Mailloux has more offensive. Yeah. So you have Logan that maybe can play in that regard. You have David that can play in that regard. Yeah. Caden Gooley's going to be a heck of a defenseman for that.
Already is.
Yeah. So you're just building. You're building, and it comes down to a confidence level, and certainly you're projecting, but. I have no doubt in my mind David's going to be a really good, solid NHL defenseman.
I think so. If the character-wise, there seems to be no issue. Yeah. What do you think about there was a rumor that Askarov might have been traded for the Habs picks. I mean, looks like maybe the Canadiens are also looking for a goaltender. Do you see that coming out tomorrow?
I guess that we're going to have to wait and see. But what I would say about everybody would like to have a young goaltender that they feel can ascend to the number one spot in time, right? Yeah. And I believe Askarov is that. So whether that's true or not, it didn't come to fruition. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe somewhere down the road it does. But you're always on the lookout to try to find that player that can get into your net and be somebody you can rely upon for a lot of years.
Thank you very much, Craig.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Yeah, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Always looking sharp. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Too knowledgeable, man.